Hey YouTube, it's Matt with Olympus Reptiles, and sports are making a comeback, but not everywhere. So for those of you, who unfortunately root for things like, the Big Ten or the Pac-12, and your conference just said, no sports for you, we got you covered. We're going to continue with our ball tournament. So the Ball Bash 2020 is still going on. It's probably the only good thing that 2020 has, really. It's been kind of a shit show. And let's be honest, this is kind of a shit show too, because you guys really screwed me, okay? I'm just going to come right out and say it. I'm a little pissed at you, YouTube, because you took out my boy Zeus. I had high hopes for him, my #1 overall seed, and you had Artemis beat him. But it ain't my tournament, it's yours. So that's okay. Artie got to move on, so let's find Artie an opponent, shall we? And we're going to compete with the Onyx and the Pastel Lesser Desert Ghost. Now, if you may remember, the Onyx, in what I thought was kind of an upset, beat the Inchy Ivory in a close one, 53-46. The Pastel Lesser Desert Ghost is #2 seed, had no problem against Apollo, 78-31. So let's start with the Onyx. Now, he's a rather big boy. So he could have won that tournament right there. Had he just bit me, he'd automatically won. So I know you guys. You guys would like, vote for the guy that bit Matt. So what this is this is it's an animal that is, what's the word I'm looking for? A lilac. Thank you. I'm having a rough day. With black pastel and het red xanthic. So it's never going to produce a normal. You're always going to get one of those two genes to kick through. Kind of like Artemis. This is a little bit kind of a funny coincidence here. We bought Artemis as a female, right? Found out a year later it was a male. Well, we bought the Onyx as a female as well. When we bought the Onyx, there's a lot of things going on, man. We bought several snakes, and I knew the guy, really good dude. I mean, took them all home. I kind of had a Gaboon Viper in the car at the time. We'd been in Kansas City, picked up this Gaboon Viper at the airport. So to say that shit was weird that day, shit was a little weird. And so I come back with this guy, and we're kind of looking at everything, and I check it like the next week, because, I'm a little bit better at this now, and I sex it, and I'm like, oh, that's penises. So I called the dude up. He obviously made it right, no big deal. It was sold to him as a female too, and he just never bothered to check. One of those things that happens, and he was a guy I was buying some larger snakes from because he was having a new baby. And I always talk about buying adults. It's kind of sketchy because you don't know what you're really getting. But when people are having a baby, they need space and time and money. That's a great time to buy adult snakes. So if you see a lady walk up and she's pregnant and the guy's like, hey man, I got some adult snakes I need to sell you, you're probably okay. Okay, I'm just going to put it out there. That's terrible to say, but that's probably a good time that you can probably get a good deal. So we did buy several adults from him, this being one. So that is kind of his story and all the genetics he's going to pass on. We'll put him back up. He is being bred this year, currently to our Killer Bee female. So what that means is that clutch would make nothing minimum 2 gene snakes. You'd have either pastel, black pastel, or pastel het red xanthic with spider kicking through some of that. So that's pretty cool. But if he wins here, you can kind of pick whatever he breeds to from the girl's side, right? So let me get you the next one. It's a little bit of a smaller snake. Make sure I'm grabbing the right thing here. Pastel Lesser Desert Ghost, my #2 overall seed. Even though this guy's a little bit smaller, I can tell you, clean you up a little bit from all that dirt in there, that he is already getting the job done. He is about to have his first clutch of babies. There's a female been bred to only him this year that is pregnant, so that's really awesome. He is one of our Florida snakes. So we picked him up in Florida last year because, COVID. This year we can't go anywhere. It's horse shit. But it is what it is, I guess we got to be safe. It's a whole other story for another day. So what this carries is obviously pastel and lesser, and then the Desert Ghost just takes everything and cranks it up a notch. So you can really see the colors on this snake, how just beautiful it is, how creamy it looks. The pattern is just insane, along with the blushing, and that is all thanks to the Desert Ghost. So really, really awesome snake. Not a really big guy. We haven't had him very long. We got him as a little bitty one, but he is taking off, already breeding and doing fine, and still eating, so he'll be even bigger this coming season. So what this will give you in a breeding pair is nothing in here is a lilac, but you do have a homozygous. So the worst thing it's going to do is make het Desert Ghost. So, you're going to have that recessive floating around in there if you're looking for it. You could also get pastel or not. You could get lesser or not. So you could get anything from a pastel to a pastel lesser, all het desert ghost. That's kind of the possibilities from this guy with a normal. Obviously, if you stick with other females, you can start making like bells that are 100% het desert ghost, which would be a really cool snake for breed purposes, things like that. So that is him, and this is our number 2 overall seed. So of course he is the favorite. This was the one I expected to square off with Zeus, the Almighty. It just didn't happen. So let me put this one back, and then I'm going to show you one more thing before I get off of here. Okay, one more thing for you. Get in there, buddy. Give me my thumb. Thank you. No, we don't get to go exploring. Come on. One more thing for you. Okay? It's a surprise. Can't see it. Can't see it. Y'all can't see it. And now you can. I want you to look at what you did. You look at what you did. This is no longer in the tournament. And Patreon, you know I love you guys. You guys voted him out too. I'm so sad right now. Heartbreaking. But that's all right, because just because this was my favorite, I do understand it's not everybody's favorite. And he's going to do a loop-de-loop. All right, guys. Kurt, anything else before we go, I should say?
No.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.